So guys, a question a lot of you are probably wondering. Which Crown Victoria should you purchase? The LX model or the Police Interceptor model? Well, hopefully I'm able to answer that question for you, or not so much answer it, but guide you in the direction to help you decide which Crown Vic should you buy, the LX or the P71. So I've had the P71 now almost a week, and I've had this LX a little over 3 years. Both are good cars. The the P71, I just ran it through safety inspection. All it needs is rear brakes eventually, not enough to fail safety, and oil cooler lines. So I get it pretty good for the steel that I get the car for. So this car, just so you guys know what I'm comparing, has 75,000 miles and 185 idle hours. It was a former administrator or detective car with the RCMP. It is a 2007. Then over here you have its sister, the 2007 Ford Crown Victoria LX. I've owned this car since it's had 60,000 miles. Actually, a little less, so 59,000 and some miles, and now it's up to 105,000. So hopefully I can help you guys answer that question. So I'm going to go over a few things. So the LX, it is probably a safer buy if you aren't mechanically inclined. And the reason why I say that is nothing on the Crown Vic is really hard to replace except for the blend door actuator, you little piece of crap. So my blend door went out on the way home. So we'll get that replaced eventually. Not too much of a hurry. But if you're going to look for a car that has a softer ride, probably hasn't seen as much abuse, then that's going to be your ride, the LX. If you're looking for something with a bit firmer ride, may have seen a bit more abuse, but you're willing to replace the parts that can go with that, that's going to be your ride. Now luckily my P71 is the exception and probably hasn't seen too many high-speed pursuits. Which one has the better gas mileage? This one does, probably by about 10%. The LX is the 273 gearing. The P71 over there has 327 gearing and slightly different tuning, which I would say I get about an average of 12.5 liters per 100 kilometer, where this one gets about 12 liters per 100 kilometer. Just a reminder, this is day-to-day driving with hills and some stop-and-go traffic. So that 12 liter per 100K translates to about 19.5 mile per gallon in this, and about 18.5 mile per gallon in that. So that is something to think about if gas is a concern. However, the LX definitely outdoes the P71 on the highway with the 273 gearing. If you're in a more flat area, this thing I've seen muster 28 mile per gallon before if you keep your foot out of it. And this thing, I haven't really tested it too much, but I have noticed that the gas mileage on the highway is better in the LX than does the P71. And I'd say that's where the LX shines a bit more, is on the highway with the fuel economy. So I gotta give the win to the LX. Which one has more acceleration and which one has the better sound? That is, without a doubt, goes to the Police Interceptor. It's got dual exhaust, so yes, you get double the sound. And it's got 327 gearing, and the RPM limiter is a little bit higher by about 300 RPM versus the civilian model over here. Another thing, if you live in the Salt Belt, something to really think about. A civilian model probably had undercoat put to it almost annually, if not annually, every other year. A police car is not going to have that put to it. Luckily with this P71, it's been stored the last 5 winters, so not too much rust on the underbody. So the underbody on it is better than what it is in my LX. That is also something to keep in mind. Which one is more comfortable? So here's a really fun question to answer. The front seats in the P71 appear to be softer, or they feel softer. Whereas the leather seats in the Crown Victoria LX, so I'll walk up to the vehicle so you can see them. I don't have them unlocked right now, which is stupid. So anyway, these seats look like they haven't ever been sat in, so that could be part of it. So I do feel like these seats are softer versus the leather seats in the Crown Victoria LX. Oh, I do have my keys on me, so I can't unlock the cars. But the LX obviously has carpeting, digital dash, cluster. It's going to have both cruise control and traction control, auto lights, auto dimming mirror, auto temperature. So these are things that you will lose by going into the P71. And also it has that very fun bench seating in the front, which I've actually used a few times. So we're going to hop into the P71 here. And as you can see, it's manual temp controls, no cruise control, digital dash is gone. And keep in mind the digital gauges in a P71 like 000, and the radio is a lot more basic. So those are things to keep in mind. So overall, I would say the LX is a bit more comfortable, partly because the softer ride and extra features, but if you're just looking for soft seating, then the P71 is the way to go. So, trying to think of other things to look for. Other things that you have to keep in mind. The P71 might have that bit of extra maintenance cost that I sort of covered at the beginning of the video. This has an oil cooler. This one does not. Or a police oil cooler. This one does not. This one has an extra transmission cooler. This one does not. So those lines like to leak on these cars. So that will be an added maintenance expense. The cars really, though, are very similar to each other. Like, personally, I prefer the ride of the P71. I like a bit more of an aggressive ride. I like the extra getting up to speed. If you're someone that just kind of wants to float around, not feel any bumps at all, then the LX is the way to go. Another thing, if looks are more of your concern, this default comes with the chrome grille and alloy rims. This by default comes with the black honeycomb grille and the black rims. The default tire size on your LX was 225 60 16. However, I've upgraded to 235 55 17, and the default tires on the Police Interceptor are 235 55 17, just for a bit beefier handling. But keep in mind, an actual police Goodyear Eagle RSA runs you about $300 or $313 Canadian or so. So that's something to keep in mind as well if you want to stick with the stock tires that came on the car. However, many people suggest not to because the Goodyear Eagles are not that great of a tire to begin with. So guys, like I said, I've really covered some of the basics. I can't personally tell you what one to go with. If I'm looking at a Crown Vic, what you really want to go with is the condition. I can't stress that enough. Try and look for one that's got under 100,000 miles, generally speaking. I mean, these cars do have their common issues, the intake manifold, the blend door actuator, just kind of stuff like that. They are very solid cars all the way around, but those are things to keep in mind. Sometimes in the more abused P71s, you're going to have a transmission problem. So like I said, the lower the mileage, lower the idle hours, and the better condition that you can find, the better. So like I said, there really is no right or wrong answer to which one you choose, but those are some of the differences that you're going to want to just keep in mind when you purchase a vehicle, especially a former service car. And I was also lucky because all the holes are patched in this already. That's something else you'll probably have to do if you pick up a P71. Whereas the LX, obviously, no holes to worry about, and you're pretty much ready to go as soon as you drive it off the person's lot that you bought it from or private sale. So, like I said, guys, these right here in front of you are probably about as close as two cars to each other as you're going to find. Exact same year, built within 1 month of each other. And the mileage isn't that far off between the two either. So I feel like this video, I hope it helped some people. And if it did, let me know. If not, and you'd like to know more, let me know that in the comment section as well. I hope I didn't bore you too much and just talk about too much BS and whatnot, but I do have one thing to show you guys. It's a little fun. So the person that owned my car must like strippers, because look what's sitting on the back of these mud flats. We get a couple hookers sitting here, and same on the other side. Only thing I need on this car is to get a set of summer tires for the back. I have one Goodyear Eagle RSA, which I might fork out the money to get one other one just so I have a matching set of 4 on the car, but not a big deal. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, whatever. Both cars are waxed. Look at that nice shine. Oh, we get some dirt already on there. Oh well, that's the way it goes. And that car's shining up nice. This is a bittersweet moment, but we are officially saying goodbye to the 2007 Ford Crown Victoria LX. Somebody is picking it up here in about 10 minutes, so we're going to fire it up for one last time. There she goes, and now we officially move on to the P71 life. This has been an awesome car, and I'm going to miss it. But as time goes on, so do other things. Thank you all for watching, and have a good one.